Hello there. My name is David Trieu, and I am a current student in Professor Seal's MBAA 609 MIS course at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, California. Today, for my YouTube presentation on the ethical side of information systems and technology, I plan to discuss the ethical obligations of Internet Service Providers, or ISPs. Let me start off with a brief outline of my presentation. I will begin by providing a definition of what an Internet Service Provider is. Then, I will focus on three areas of where ethical dilemmas can arise concerning the role of ISPs: customer privacy and information sharing, intellectual property, and finally, censorship. An Internet Service Provider is a company that supplies Internet connectivity to homes and businesses. In other words, an ISP connects users' computers to the Internet. ISPs include all the organizations that provide the infrastructure and gateways that facilitate access to the Internet and hence to content. Often for a fee, the ISP provides the user with a password and a username to log on to the Internet. In addition to basic connectivity, ISPs can offer other services, such as email, online file storage, music, video, news, and more. Popular ISPs today are AT&T, Verizon, Roadrunner Online, and Comcast. The inherent nature of ISPs allow them to access considerable information about their customers, including the websites they frequent, the emails they send, and credit card and other financial records. ISPs originally did not want to police customers' emails or be responsible for the content on websites they host. Just as a phone company is not liable for a death threat that is carried across its wires, ISPs saw themselves as a neutral service focused on providing bandwidth and uninterrupted service. They were not concerned with what people did with the service. However, unlike the phone company, ISPs store data on computers and they have terabytes of data that flow back and forth through their wires. In the normal course of events, information is not collected for any individual customer, but only resides momentarily on the ISP server as part of their activity. An ISP's role in sharing information changed greatly when the government passed the Patriot Act in October of 2001. The Act names ISPs as institutions that, when subpoenaed, must provide the U.S. government with all the information they have about their customers. This brought ISPs into the forefront as keepers, or in this case, potential sharers of information about its customers. Now, the FBI has the authority to install its sleuth program, called Carnivore, onto ISP servers to track information about suspected individuals. However, the question still remains if ISPs are ethically obligated to share information about their customers and possibly violate privacy rights. Under many countries' laws, though, they are legally obligated to do so, whether or not ethics plays into that at all. In this day and age, ISPs have less resistance than they used to about disclosing what they once considered as proprietary customer information. In the realm of copyright law, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or DMCA, of 1998 significantly modified the role of ISPs in dealing with copyright infringement. The DMC gives ISPs legal protection against being sued due to any of their subscribers infringing on someone's copyright, if the ISPs adhere to certain requirements, that is. In order to sail into the quote-unquote safe harbor set out in the DMCA, the ISP must designate a person as its agent for receiving copyright complaints. If a grievance is received, the law lays out the steps that an ISP must follow in order to retain its legal protection. However, the DMCA has been used in ways beyond the typical case of a corporation's copyrighted material, such as in situations with pirated software or music downloads. Under this legislation, the RIAA has asked certain ISPs for their identities of their customers who knowingly download music files. The question here is, are ISPs ethically obligated to comply with this request? In one of the more well-known cases involving Napster, several ISPs, including Pacific Bell Internet Services and Verizon, were sufficiently disturbed by the new lowering of the bar for these customer privacy protection that they went to fight these subpoenas in court, asking that they be declared invalid. Again, this situation was a case of shooting the messenger when the ISPs that were in question were just managing the infrastructure of the network and not any of the content of the traffic going on the net. Finally, what role do ISPs play in the realm of censorship? An ISP not having any political or religious convictions can take the safe road and ask a website to remove any offending material that violates an ISP's terms of service. However, this business-first approach does not serve the spirit of free press and may impact and damage an ISP's reputation. In other countries, such as China and Saudi Arabia, the national governments play a role in demanding that ISPs restrict certain content from their users. In the case of China, many pro-Tibetan websites have been blocked through censorship measures mandated by the government for their ISPs. In the eyes of these state-controlled governments, an ISP has to do all it can to prevent its services from being used in ways that damage public order and national unity. While this isn't the case in the US, there is a realistic possibility that in the near future, the system of internet domain name allocation, such as extensions of .com or .edu, will be used as a control system for electronic information provision. The ethical obligations of ISPs still remain a gray area due to the controversial nature of matters such as customer privacy and information sharing, copyright infringement, and government regulations. What an ISP is legally held responsible for does not justify its inherent ethical obligations. Again, much like the Postal Service and the phone company, an ISP only acts as a pipe or conduit for users and should not be assigned the role as a police of online content and activity. However, as the line between ethics and law blurs, we will see ISPs taking on the responsibility of being a poor man's firewall more and more seriously in the coming years.